la, la. Oh, there we go. Oh, come on. Morning, morning, morning. This is Justice's Waiting Room. It's a daily live podcast where we discuss news and politics. You know how we do it. Beginning of every show, instead of blaring music in your ears that you don't get to decide whether or not you want to listen to that, I'm just going to post the link to Edwin Starr's War. You know, war. What is it good for? And if you want to take a break from the show, go listen to that. Come back all gassed up. Fucking, it motivates the shit out of me. So, I appreciate all the people that reach out and have offered to help with the formation of the American Socialist Party. Um, many people are gonna wonder like who are you? I am Jared Malat. You can find me on Blue Sky. Yeah, that was my song in sixth grade. Yeah. Okay. And first thing I want to do, okay, play this one though, so timely. Yeah. What is it good for? Okay. Hmm. Away. Grammarly. Morning, 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 morning. So, in addition, people have to be led to water, is what I have learned in my lifetime. You cannot point out a single source. Good to go. You just got to walk around and say that looks an awful lot like water. The fuck. So here's what happened. So we've been talking about R50501 for a while on this show. Have we not? I mean, I wonder when it even got formed. January 25th, 2025. So keep in mind, this subreddit is not even a month old. I'd argue we've been a member pretty early, okay, since the inauguration. So we've been hyping up this subreddit since its inception, and it got banned by Elon Musk, and it came back. So it's back online. I think it was only down for like an hour or some shit like that. Okay. I'm gonna listen to music today. Um, Sometimes when I'm like stressed out or I don't know, I actually think like I'm operating on the right wavelength. I can like do what I'm doing and listen to music at the same time. And I default to long songs. that don't necessarily have like a lot of words. It's just like music. It's like some people listen to lo-fi hip hop on YouTube. I like long songs that don't necessarily have music. One of my favorite songs is Orion. I think it's a ZZ Top song. I know that's a fucking throwback. Okay. In addition to R50501, there's also Protest Finder USA. Okay. So to make sure, hey, I've been sitting here telling you don't use Meta tools, right? I've been saying don't use Facebook, don't use Threads, don't use Instagram. Stop posting your original content on Meta tools. Good to go? So this means stop using Messenger. Stop using WhatsApp. If you can, if you are able. Some people are not able. You got to stop using Twitter or X. And you got to stop using Amazon. Okay? You got to hit them where it hurts. The it'd be a different industries we've been attacking, right? That we've been rebelling, right? But the people that are harming you are technocrats. They got rich based on technology, on improvements in technology. Okay, um, doesn't make them any less evil. Oh, I said, oh God. So protest like a motherfucker is like the modus operandi, and the 28th, okay, economic blackout, February 28th. All I'm saying is eat your paycheck. You hear me? Just whatever you can do, try not to spend money. Full disclosure, I'm one of them people. I prefer to lead from the front, which means like if I'm asking you to do something, it's because I'm willing to do it myself. And if I'm not willing to do it myself, why am I asking other people to do it? I have to take a cat to the veterinarian on that day, no exceptions. We rescheduled 3 times. This is a small local veterinarian's office, and I have a cat that has a rash. I'm not putting it off any further. But other than that, that little $150 I probably have to spend, I'm not, that's a payday for me too. So understand, I'm asking you to do something, and I'm full disclosure, like I have to take a animal to the veterinarian that day. But other than that, good to go. And then hey, I'm putting you all on notice now on March 1st, okay? Putting y'all on notice now, March 1st. Hey, I'm screaming only $150. I'm screaming it's only $150, right? It's just a little rash, right? You know what I'm saying? Like it, you got a little butt itch. Just needs some ointment. Fuck are we talking about? Um that said though, I'm putting y'all on notice on a week from today. Hey, 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 hey. A week from today, I'm gonna take because I already have the Proton email for the American Socialist Party. So I got the email, like the protected email that's not Gmail. I got the Proton email for American Socialist Party. I already have it all set up. A week from today, when I wake up on Saturday morning, the day after the economic blackout, I'm going to take that email address and start creating social media accounts. All these places that I've told you not to use, okay? Right? Come on, man. I need to get in and out and it not cost me an arm and a leg, right? It's got a hot spot. And this happens, we have a lot of animals. We have 6 animals, so we are taking our animals to the vets all the time. And keep in mind, Our animals are rescues. Most most of them are rescues. Literally, Edmund, my best friend, was dropped off in my yard. Dead ass. He looked like a little cow. He a little cow dog. A little pit bull that looks like a cow. Anyway, he's that's my like best friend. That man's attached to my face. But yeah, okay. A week from today, I start coat defense is my skin tuition using my horse like coat defense. Where you, where you get that at? Yeah, animals that was yeah, we gotta take care of fur babies. I gotta make exceptions because people want especially their leadership to be human and be honest, right? Be human and be honest. We normally blow money on paydays, buy groceries, get something to eat. Like that's son is a veterinarian, highly recommend. Lori, we might be back in the fucking game. Good to go. But yeah, on a week from today, next Saturday, when I get on here, I better already have followers. All I'm gonna try to do every day after next Saturday is to wake up my ass early, get a piece of content out for the American Socialist Party. Good to go. And then I have not asked for this, right? I have not asked for this platform. That's not what I asked for. But I'm gonna ask you to interact. I'm gonna say, hey, I know you're just chatting with your homie here. I've started this fucking project. I need your help. I've been sitting here. Company's called Coat Defense. Get the powder and ointment. Y'all heard it from the mother of a veterinarian. Company's called Coat Defense. They have a powder and ointment. Probably less cost than going to the vet. My wife is probably gonna make me take her to the vet anyway. We've done rescheduled on this veterinarian like 3 times for this fucking cat in the last couple weeks. So hey, if I can get out of it and we are participating in the fully participating in the blackout and I have nothing holding me back, then it's like, hey, I was human, I was honest, and I got a fucking break. Ha ha ha. So uh and then on March 1st, I'm gonna start creating all the social media accounts for the American Socialist Party. And then my thought process is because again, I'm not asking for money and I have to do a series of events in order to establish the American Socialist Party that I kind of think that it has to be like you have the money up front to get the bank account, get the tax ID, and register as a political party with the FEC. So I have to have $1,000 in my hand, and I'm not at the money yet. Good to go. It's $50 for the duo. I'll tell my wife. I wish she was just in part of the show. Um, but yeah, want to make sure uh 6 days from now, so on Friday, the 28th of February, it's an economic blackout. So if you can help it, don't spend money. I'm gonna tell my wife about what Lori said in the comments. Company is called Coat Defense, COAT Defense. Okay, and then powder and ointment. Like if you got animals that got like a rash or a hot spot or something, you could use that before you spend money at a veterinarian on a rash, right? And I'm all for taking the word of a veterinarian, right? Especially coming from the mom of a veterinarian. Gee, Lori, thank you. MVP Lori, what's up? Okay. Um, since we're talking about me, I want to make sure I tell y'all because not everybody gets to see the show for verification. Huh? Oh no, for to sign to formally become a political party per the FEC, the Federal Election Certification. What I think is what it's called. Federal Election Commission. RX Wow Hills House House House. I'm looking for a name. I'll get back to you. Good to go. To send me money. Yeah, I'm not asking for anyone to. I don't see the thing about politics is it's very ugly. Okay, it is straight ugly. Uh, I think the requirements to be a political party is you have to have like raise $1,000, spend $5,000. You have to have a tax ID, a bank account in order to register with the FEC. So obviously I could fundraise, but I have a full-time job. So it doesn't pass logic for me to like physically fundraise when it's like let me get $1,000, put it in a bank account. All do before we ever start asking anyone for money, I want to make sure I can create a proper paper trail and that I have the bank account and that I had the $1,000 it took to meet all the requirements and I can say, here's my individual donation to the political party, right? I gave $1,000. Yes, I was the founder and first donor, but and I didn't want it for that. That's not what I wanted it for. I wanted it so before I ask anyone for a dime, yeah, I put in my own money. I did all the legwork here. I'm gonna have like an accountant and treasurer for the party, like you know what I mean? I want to do the money shit right. Um, because you don't want to lean on PACs and super PACs. You want to lean on individual contribution. You want to be grassroots as fuck. Like and I think one of the ways to do that is to pretty quickly get up a merch store and to get a logo out and give it something kids can replicate and that they want to wear. So for the record, I put it out into the ether. Uh I'm looking to create a logo, and for reference, the look at the Republican and Democrat, the elephant and the donkey, okay? And understand you want something that kind of looks red, white, and blue, but it's a snake and it says ASP or ASP, right? Good to go. So it's not that we're not working on a logo. We don't already have the Proton email. I already got a Proton email for American Socialist Party. Okay. And then what I'm what I'm pitching is the pitch, right? What we're promising to be is a political party free of foreign money and money from corporations. We'll just straight up turn that money into the DSA and say, if you want to support the American Socialist Party and you're a PAC or a super PAC, just go donate money to the DSA because that's what the DSA is. So, for the record, a lot of people have come to me and they've been like, why don't you just join the DSA? Oh, you mean that fundraising organization? That's not a political party. That's a fundraising There's a difference between a political party and a fundraising organization. And I don't mean any disrespect to the DSA, but all of the people that are running for political office that are DSA are Democrats. They're part of the establishment of the status quo, okay? The more of the same party. Again, I want to keep pointing out if you ask a Republican what their platform, what is the current Republican platform, it's hate. It's mostly racism, for the record. I want to make sure we get this out here. It's mostly hate and racism, which aren't platform. That's not politics. Good to go. Eliminating social safety nets and endangering the lives of and unnecessarily stressing the very demographic that voted for you. So for the record, when we talk about the leopards eating faces party, right? I just thought it was a big cat. He said he didn't have anything to do with Project 2025. Did you bother to read it? His name's in it 210 times. It was literally created around Donald Trump as the Trojan horse. The whole goal is to use the 25th Amendment to make, yeah, it's the whole point's to get JD Vance in the presidency because they feel like he's even more evil and easier to manipulate. Yeah. A third of Project 2025 has already been implemented. Russell Vought, who's credited with being like one of the founders of Project 2025. Keep in mind, Peter Thiel funded uh, the Heritage Foundation's Project 2025. So somebody posted in the comments, Epstein and Diddy's list are about to be revealed to the American people. Uh-oh. I can imagine South Africans, yes. David Sachs, Peter Thiel, Elon Musk. Okay. On the new DOJ Attorney General's desk as we speak. Donald Trump fired the Joint Chiefs of Staff. He's a general, the head of the Joint Chiefs of Staff. So he's a general today. He's a black person. Want to make sure we get that out there in horribleness, right? That is what we're doing. Chairman of Joint Chiefs of Staff. Lieutenant General Dan Kane of the U.S. Air Force to replace General C.Q. Brown. So C.Q. Brown is C.Q. Brown Jr., the country's highest ranking military officer. Good morning. Yeah, I just want to make sure we're pointing out while we're singing their praises in our comments. Curtis Yarvin's a blogger. So the entire uh, accelerationist um, technocracy, this authoritarian dictatorship where they're, Donald Trump's crowning himself the king and shit, um, is all because of a fucking no bitch getting blogger. Curtis Yarvin. hmm And also another central figure in all of this, outside of fucking Vladimir Putin. It was revealed last night a long time KGB, which is like our version of the like CIA, I guess. Said Donald Trump was recruited. He even has a name, Krovask, I think was his name. So yeah, Donald Trump's like totally a Russian asset. Krasnov, sorry, Krasnov. Totally a Russian fucking asset. And everybody's like, "Oh my God, that's so unbelievable." He asked for the help of Russia on the debate stage with Hillary Clinton. He asked for the help of Russia on the debate stage in 2016 with Hillary Clinton. And I was in a room full of people I care about. And I was like, did y'all just fucking see that? Like, how could you vote for that? How the fuck could you vote for that? And then once I started doing more research, of course, I became a bigger, my, like I've told you, I got first cousins that are black. My best friend in the world is a black man from Brooklyn, New York. So as soon as I find out that you're asking for the help of Russia on the debate stage in 2016, I start doing some research. What do you think the first thing I come across is? The Central Park Five. The lengths Donald Trump went to before you even knew who he was. Look up the Central Park Five. Donald Trump was so convinced that these five black boys committed murder that he took out ads in five newspapers in five boroughs in New York, spent $250,000, took out a full page ad trying to get the death penalty for five black boys, all of whom spent 7 or more years in prison. One of them did more than 20 fucking years. He was so fucking convinced he was right that he put boys behind bars and wanted them to die. And they didn't fucking do it. The person who did it came out and said they did it and that they did it alone. Five black boys ruined five little black boys' lives. They were all like 15, 16, 17 years old, I'm pretty sure. None of them were adults even. You heard me. One of them did like 20 years and didn't fucking do it. So like once you find out that he did that shit, then you find out that he was a racist landlord, and he routinely surprise kicked out black tenants and refused to rent to black tenants. Um, and again, this is probably before 1987 when Russia. You got to understand, in 1987, Russia recruited Donald Trump as an asset. Former KGB came out last night and said Krasnov. Yeah. I know a lot of people are like, "Wait, I don't understand." He kicked a 90-year-old lady in Atlantic City off her land, bulldozed her lifelong home for a parking lot. Never apologized or pulled back that story request. Right. Okay. You mean I'm telling the truth? I don't get it. I'm telling you what actually happened, who this person actually was before they were recruited by Russia. Keep in mind, between 2002 and 2004, the former head of the KKK, and another high-ranking person in the right wing in the United States says Russia is the key to white salvation, and that racism is one of the pillars of survivability for Russia. So understand, literally, like Russia recruited Donald Trump as an asset in the 80s, and 20 years later, the Grandmaster Dragon of the Ku Klux Klan saying Russia is the key to white salvation. The racism is the one of the cornerstones of the opportunity for survivability of Russia. And keep in mind, Russia is an enemy of the United States. Russia put bounties on American soldiers. Moscow paid 250, the Kremlin paid $250,000 a mission in Afghanistan attacking Americans. $250,000 permission to kill Americans. Him and Putin are like best fucking friends. So nobody can be surprised. Nobody can be surprised that I didn't know that he was recruited in 1987 and had the name Krasnov or whatever. I didn't know that until today. And it's not that I didn't know that he was a Russian asset before today. I definitely fucking knew that. Definitely knew that. Yep. So yeah, Slava Ukraini, understand that Ukraine single-handedly kept the United States from having to go to war. They could have just laid down their arms, let Russia walk in, uh, grape and murder their children, and and you know torture their men, and just take over their land and take their resources. But this isn't civilization. That's not how this works. Yeah, Putin's ex KGB. Yeah. So yeah, when it comes out that the president of the United States was officially recruited by the Kremlin in 87 and has been an asset since 87, I'm not surprised at all. How many people don't know Ukraine agreement to give up nukes in exchange for security from US? By the way, in some good news, we got to have some good news eventually, right? Did y'all see Enrique Tarrio, the former leader of the Proud Boys, got arrested at the Capitol? Did y'all see that? Oh, sure, he could be currently KGB. I don't, you know, cool. Um, but yeah, outside of that, mask up, mask up. Um, COVID-19, bird flu, the flu. Hey, if you're leaving your house, mask up. No other details on what? No other details on what? No other details on what? Explain what? There is an article. CQ Brown Jr., highest ranking person in the U.S. military, fired. Also black. Tattoo. Tario. He was arrested at the U.S. Capitol yesterday. Mhm. From ABC News, right there. Let's see. Rest of the U.S. Capitol allegedly struck a woman's phone and arm when she allegedly put a phone near his face after a press conference wrapped up on Capitol ground. Oh, he assaulted someone. Tyler was sentenced September 2023 for his conviction on seditious conspiracy and given the longest sentence of all. Though he was not at the Capitol on January 6th. So I just want to point out, that the leader wasn't even there on January 6th. I just want to point that out. the leader of the Proud Boys, the person who like is in charge and planned this shit, didn't actually go to it. Anyway, just keep throwing that out there. Yeah. One of the comments says she was videoing him. He ripped phone from her and threw it. Cop right there in front of him arrested him. Yeah. So speaking of cowards, I will be at the protest on March 4th. So in addition to, in 6 days, there is um, the economic blackout. So on February 28th, the economic blackout. On March 1st, I'll be officially creating all of our social media profiles. What I'm trying to do is finalize a logo that I can convert, that I can use, right? Right. So that I can create all the social media profiles on all these websites that we've been telling you not to use, right? And then, hey, only going to use that to post stuff, right? Only going to use my accounts to share American Socialist Party stuff. And then we're going to work to, yeah, February 28th, buy nothing. hmm If you're able to call in sick, call in sick. Yeah, I'm not using Facebook Threads, IG, WhatsApp, Messenger, Amazon, Twitter. Not doing that shit. Yeah. I saw there was a, by the way, Squint, I saw there was a town hall last night that was not pretty. Shout out Janet Mills, the Maine governor, tussled with Donald Trump yesterday. Something along the lines of, I'll see you in court. Like, what the fuck? Hard time not doing Amazon. Yeah, I hear that. I definitely hear that. I want to make sure we also say if you thought Donald Trump's pardoning of all those people from January 6th was fucked up, okay, but you shouldn't be. That's like the whole point is not to spend money on that day. Cool story, bro. Like I'm begrudgingly might be, you know what I mean? But yeah, 83% of Americans disapprove of of Trump's January 6th pardon. So if you ever thought like, man, that was super fucked up, you you were right. Yeah, Janet Mills is a boss. Okay. Holy shit. Worst outbreak in 3 decades in Texas in terms of measles. 48 cases. Okay. Uh, get your goddamn shots too. Apparently, gotta tell people they can trust vaccines and shit with your platform. You know what I mean? Stock market crashed yesterday. You know, that's fantastic because I don't have anything to do with the stock market. You know what I mean? Hopefully, I don't get fired. That's the way I always think about it. Because I'm the new guy. So you see all these temps get these recently hired 800 points. That's a lot. Yep. Um. Oh, people are always looking for guidance. Like, what are we supposed to say at a protest? And on Reddit, we made up a chant. No kings, no tyrants, we will not remain silent. No kings, no tyrants, we will not remain silent. I did not catch the stock market crash. Oh shit, my 401k lost. Yeah. Yep. That's why they were telling you to get out of your 401ks, your Roth IRAs, like get out of those, put your money in credit unions, that way you don't lose it. And spread your money around. That's what my wife and I are gonna do. I mean, not that we have anything in fucking savings. I had to take that all out because the Medicare industry crumbled. Just understand that it doesn't have to be this way. You could become a member of a political party that has an actual plan, an actual platform, actual policies that they want to introduce that are going to have cost and effect, that have a purpose, right? Like one of the first things I would do is legalize cannabis and immediately start working on socialism programs and use the tax money you get from cannabis to pay for your socialist programs. And also, if you need it, you can also just make a small change to the tax code. Okay? It sucks. Well, I'd say we're in a hardship. You know what I mean? Yeah, penalties go. I had to pay all kinds of money to get my money out. Get my money out. It was tough. I didn't know I had that much money in there, and I was like, "We'll see how long I can stretch it." Because I had to find like a stable employment. Right? It took 8 months to find a job, and I made it through training. I did so good in fucking training. I did so fucking good. Like, what are we talking about? How did I get restricted for what? What did I say? That's kind of a shock. What did we just got restricted on TikTok for? What did I say there? I mean, I know we're super radical in what we're talking about. Here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna restart. No, it's just a restriction. You just restart your show. 1,000 viewers in 45 minutes. I was like, what were we talking about? That was so crazy. Fucking dumb. Trump aligned companies to boycott. Here's a good list. Maybe. That seems a little loose. I guess. I guess. And again, another part of the content I made this morning was me talking about um, Donald Trump and Vladimir Putin having peace talks without involving Ukraine or Vladimir Zelensky, the president of Ukraine. And no, 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 no. I don't want that. I want I want Ukraine to negotiate for themselves. Remember, Ukraine's not a member in NATO. Oh, and also, because I'm a socialist, right? I want equality for all. This includes justice for all, the elimination of this two-tiered justice system that we live under. I also want everyone to have universal health care, education, income, and housing. Okay. And I want to be a champion of union labor, and I want to encourage people to work for and own small businesses. Okay. You strike out on your own. Yes, I want to champion that, right? Um, if and understand, do no harm, right? As a sort of a political thought process, right? I'm not gonna introduce policy that hurts people. I'm not gonna take money from corporations and big super PACs who try to force my hand and give me direction on policy, right? So obviously, I'm a big proponent of eliminating Citizens United and getting politics out of, or getting money out of politics, get corporations out of politics, right? And obviously, we need term limits. We need less Mitch McConnells, right? We need less lifetime appointments. We need an ethics code. We need, again, the law to apply equally to everyone, no matter your position. You know, one of the things that's always bothered me is how the fuck are there police unions and police have qualified immunity, right? If you have a union that you're paying money to defend you, why do you need immunity from your actions, right? Doesn't make doesn't make what the fuck are you in a union for? Why is there even a police union? Doesn't make any sense. But then you look at what a police get paid, and I don't know, again, if you're on Reddit, if you've seen people post their paychecks from what they're getting paid, they're getting handsomely fucking paid. Okay? So if you ever wondered, how are these motherfuckers out of control? Oh, because they're living out their John Wick fantasies. They get paid enough to do this, to pay all their bills and have enough money to have a war chest and to be able to play out of it, right? And that's literally what it feels like. You know, you do something enough wrong and they send the tanks at you. You know what I mean? Um or the troop carriers. I'm trying to remember what they're called. The tracks from when I was on active duty, I can never remember what those things are called. I didn't ride in those. I drove a Humvee. Jeffries is on a book tour. I told you. Hakeem Jeffries is on a book tour, right? While 83-year-old Bernie Sanders starts in Nebraska and Iowa, um, teaching people about, avoiding being in this situation that we're in. I think last time we got roughed up was this: companies to avoid doing business with, like Bradley's. Yeah, you're right. Here's this representative that wants to lose her fucking job. Representative Bonamisi refused to answer veterans' questions at a town hall meeting last night. I don't know. When he came to Indiana, um, I went and seen him. We filled up the circle. I voted for him. You know what I mean? That's who I voted for in a primary. I feel like he got robbed. What you miss? Um, So there's officially a protest on March 4th. On Protest Finder USA, it has been announced it is being organized. Your state capital, noon your time on March 4th. It's a Tuesday. Okay. It's also the day after the results of Executive Order 13848 are supposed to be out. So for the record, a lot of people have made these weird comments like you're still holding out hope. What the fuck are you talking about, bro? First of all, and in terms of Executive Order 13848, Donald Trump is the one who signed that shit into law. Joe Biden re-signed it every fucking year, okay? And like I said, yeah, Tuesday, noon your time at your state capital. I will be at that. I will be at this one. Tuesdays are my day off. It's already my least favorite day to work. Okay, so I'm gonna try between obviously March 1st. I'll probably go out March 2nd on Sunday to get stuff to make a sign. Okay, but yeah, on March 3rd, so coming up, a couple days after the formation of the American Socialist Party, we start building our movement out formally. We start talking about what we've been talking about for since we started this show. By the way, I don't know if you guys were here for that. We're right about 100 episodes. No, I have brother and sister pit bulls that are Staffordshire Terriers. So they're just small pit bull. They're 50 pounders, full grown. And then I have a German Shepherd. He's about a 90 pounder. And I also have a um I'm guessing he's like a pit bull mastiff. Yeah. Okay. So like I said, socialism and communism doesn't work. Okay. Based on what evidence? Yeah. Based on zero evidence. Many of the government functions in society that are productive are socialist functions. Yeah. See, this is you're well outclassed here. Meaning I've spent much more time studying this. In fact, I'm going to get a degree in political science and I'm founding a political party. So I don't know that you really want to do that. I don't know that you want to do that. Yeah, everybody rings up USSR because they were taken over, they were violently overthrown. See, the key is violence. There have been countless societies that have become completely socialist, and at some point they all turn violent because people can't beat socialism. You can't beat universal healthcare, education, income, and housing. You can't beat we paid for it all by legalizing cannabis. That you can't beat that. There's no way to who's voting against that? Hey, we eliminate interest, rent, and tax as a platform. Who's defeating it? Okay. They were all overthrown. Selfishness doesn't work. Capitalism doesn't work. And the current democratic republic we live in does not the rule of law does not apply to everyone. So, this particular American Socialist Party that I'm starting is a syndicalist. But yeah, but you're talking about the economic profile of socialists, and you understand that there's decentralized planning when it comes to free market, right? And so you can have an approach that takes the good from the free markets and central planning and uses that as a platform, right? And uses that as a political platform, right? So I know that you're convinced that you're right and you cannot be convinced that you're wrong, but you're wrong. And I'm just going to keep saying what I'm saying and completely ignoring you because you're just a detractor. You're not building anything. You don't have a platform. You haven't written policy. You're not talking to someone who hasn't done those things, who doesn't have a plan, who doesn't know what they're talking about and is well researched. Syndicalism, which is the championing of the unions, is the path forward for socialism in the United States. Why? Because Joe Biden was super pro union, but you can't make decisions that hurt unions, right? Like you can't get into office and immediately go against the railroad union, right? That's a really bad look. That shows disloyalty. It fractured the trust between union leadership and political leadership in the United States, and absolutely is a good, really good something to point at. When you look at the union, wasn't super democratic, right? But yeah, saying socialism doesn't work because of an aspect of a socialist society doesn't negate it as a whole, because you have options. It's like a Build-A-Bear, right? When you say I'm a socialist and that I want equality for all, and I want the government to use your tax money to turn you into a useful person, right? Via like universal healthcare, education, income, and housing. I want everyone to have like a good opportunity, right? Otherwise, it's just gonna break. Yeah, you need unions. Everyone needs to be a part of a workers' union, right? And by championing unions and working with unions, your political party is gonna grow. You're gonna get the leaders out of your political party from your unions. You're gonna contribute leadership to unions, right? It's called syndicalism. Mhm. So again, I'm not even listening when someone says socialism doesn't work. That's just an idiot to me, a useful idiot. Capitalism needs useful idiots too. The status quo needs useful idiots too. And that's what anyone saying socialism doesn't work. The healthcare system in the United States is failing. What are you suggesting we replace it with? More healthcare that you got to pay for? Is that what you're suggesting? I'm suggesting universal healthcare. 33 of 34 first world countries have it. And if you don't join unions, they're gonna use AI to take your job, and it's not even AI. There's no consciousness. So it's really just like smart spreadsheets and smart database management. And as someone who has a background in data analytics, I would think of it more like a calculator or like a spell check sort of tool. And keep in mind, you could not listen to me, but the problem is y'all did it Elon's way and Peter Thiel's way and David Sachs' way. And what happened? They took all of your money, right? They used their money to build technology to replace you. So they don't even need you. And they use it to buy political office, and as soon as they get in office, what do? Turn their back on you. The free market can't deliver healthcare. No. Did y'all see United Healthcare's uh claim denial rate went up since we since Luigi ended Brian Thompson's tenure? They deny more claims now. Seems while he was certainly the head of a snake, they just replaced that and just they immediately uh again, it's an act of violence. I just want to make sure I point this out. Yep. By the way, somebody insurance can't provide disaster relief, right? We have to have FEMA for that. FEMA is socialist. Yeah, why was he wearing shackles? I don't understand why he's being paraded around handcuffed under presumption of innocence. I thought you were innocent until proven guilty. Why is he in handcuffs? I'll never forget. He was in green, by the way, playing up the whole Luigi thing. But yeah, notice that the person that tried to say socialism doesn't work and they've got a double major, they reported the show because we disagreed. I didn't say anything personally disrespectful to that person. I argued that you don't have to choose centralized planning and you don't have to divert from the free market. Part of being intelligent and not and understanding that politics is kind of like Build-A-Bear. You kind of get to choose, right? When you're building a political party, you get to look at history and all the attempts at socialism in history, right? I only got 11 people in here. We had 60. We have restrictions. Hold on. They nuked my channel. I'm only going for an hour, guys. But yeah, it's time to protest when the President of the United States is calling himself the king and shit and sharing here's another good one. This is before the Okay. So here's March so people looking ahead, right? Adding stuff to their calendars. Okay. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I wasn't even arguing horribly, you know what I mean? I was having an actual like arguing. Anyway, so I posted this link to the protest and it shows, the protest from the 17th. It shows them the economic blackout on February 28th, okay? And then March 7th through the 14th is the oligarch number 1 protest. And from March 7th through the 14th, you're not supposed to buy from Amazon. Okay? So we got the events on our calendar, right? So we know on the 28th is the economic blackout. Don't spend money on Friday if you can help it, right? And then I said, "Hey, on March 1st, I'm going to take the email for the American Socialist Party and I'm going to create an account, hopefully using the finalized logo that me and one of our community members are working on right now." Okay. Hopefully we'll have that ready for March 1st. And I'm gonna talk to the person I'm working with to make sure that it's free and that you can steal that logo and print that logo. We spent a lot of time trying to figure out exactly. So here's what I'm building, right? The logo is the head of the snake looking at you with ASP across the brow. Okay? It already it's a dope idea. We just gotta finalize the look. Okay. So we're definitely like on it. But yeah, for people, yeah, meaning like I'm gonna work with an artist to make sure we create a free logo where we say, hey, put this on t-shirts and hats and shit. Yes, we'll get around to making merch because you kind of have to in this day and age. You kind of have to viral market. You have to have people showing up with hats and beanies and hoodies and t-shirts and all kinds of shit that says ASP on it. Good to go. So I'm also going to make sure that it's free, right? That image, that logo of ours is meant to be redistributed, right? Because that's sort of what socialism is. It's a social thing, you know? You want people to understand, like, not only do we not have kings, but we don't do this status quo shit neither, right? So, what we, by forming the American Socialist Party, hopefully, as Executive Order 13848 comes out, as 140 elected officials get removed from their seat, what the fuck is the Republican Party going to do other than collapse on its own head? And what are the Democrats going to do when all of a sudden there's a fracture we already knew about, right? Remember? We already know about a fracture in the Democratic Party between like the old heads and the young heads. We already know about that. Like the big money is going away from uh sort of progressive Democratic uh politicians, and they're kind of like the old guard. These are people that just want more of the same, right? When the rich people get up and they leave the Democratic Party, it's because they want more of the same. And there's this insane belief, Executive Order 13848. Yeah, that should be coming out on the 3rd. So there's a protest the next day nationwide, um, on March 3rd, and then March 7th through the 14th. Don't shop at Amazon for a week. And then on Friday, March 14th, is a national strike. No work for 24 hours. All workers, all businesses, all higher education organizations. It's not a march, but apparently there's a national strike. Okay, for one day. And that's just for the next like 3 weeks, and I'll update you as there are more, again, legitimate protest attempts. What's more effective? What do you mean? What do you what what's more effective? Strike or protest? And I think about boycott or scheduled. Oh, you mean like a pop-up protest versus scheduled protest? So when you don't when a pop-up protest happens over the course of history, of course, typically you run the risk of having the loudest person at a pop-up protest be a violent person or speak in violent rhetoric. And then it's like now you're part of like an act of violence and this is a violent protest, then you're gonna get your ass arrested, right? Where if you stick to scheduled protest, there are like permits and shit, and like people know, right? So, but yeah, boycotting works. I mean, look at all these companies just losing money like a motherfucker, bro. Um, oh, a total boy. Hey, I'll put it like this. I have no wants. I have no earthly wants. I would prefer to just save my money. That's the tip I'm on. If it isn't a bill, you know what I mean? Like my mortgage, my water, gas, sewer, whatever. I don't fucking need it. That's the kind of tip I'm on. Good to go. Stop spending money. Save your money. Go the other way. You know, I talk to people every day, and my colleagues talk to people every day that have anywhere from 10,000 up to a couple $100,000 in unsecured debt. And you ask yourself, how did they get there? Because they're consumers. They just buy shit. Hell yeah. Boycott apartheid Israel products too. No shit. Free Palestine. And don't ever fucking go there. If Donald Trump manages to, I can't. How does that motherfucker not die? Anyway, so if he manages to try to settle Gaza and turn it to what he wants to turn it into, don't fucking go there. I'll make sure I say that. Like, don't do that. Make sure you get 8 hours of sleep a night. Take a nap if you need to take a nap. Okay. That you hydrate and eat right and exercise. And if you've started exercising, you start plateauing, supplement with protein shake. Here you go. Supplement with a protein shake. Try not to overexert yourself. That's why I recommend splitting your workout, right? Go lift in the morning, go for a run in the evening. Yeah. You'll get even stronger, even faster. Okay. And I always make sure that I say that. So if you're hearing it, it's because whenever I have a large audience, I think that you should default to how can I need to some falling asleep. See us fall asleep is 2 minutes saturate. You got to be able to shut it off. One of the things that I coach kids, and they'll tell you they can't sleep, right? And it's because kids are every day constantly just they're drinking from a fire hose, right? And I always ask them, "What do you do before bed?" And they're like, "Oh, I play video games." Right? So I just, I'm playing Call of Duty or Madden or whatever. And what I told the kids was, I'm a gamer too. And you know what I don't do? I don't play video games before bed. Play any other time. But when it's time to go to bed, just read a book. An actual physical book. Not a screen, right? Not a screen. Read a book. I noticed my wife has absolutely no trouble sleeping at all, and she reads a lot. So, yeah, I was telling one of my clients yesterday, I've only ever had one credit card for $5,000. That's it. So I've never really been a consumerist. Those that one $5,000 credit card, I bought furniture. I shouldn't have done that. I should have just taken whatever financing they had and kept the card, right? I would have even more debt, right? But I didn't do that. My dad always told me if you can't buy it twice, don't buy it once, right? And I fucked that up when I first bought a house. I put furniture on a credit card. Okay. So I like increased my cost for housing and then increased my bills without getting a higher paying job. That's a mistake. Okay. Oh, by the way, send this to anyone says they're not. Well, apparently the Republicans are living in fear. And, they try to say that the Democrats are afraid. And I think that their reaction is, um, you got a lot of people that aren't standing up and that are kind of laying down here that you expect to stand up and fight. Like, one thing through all this is where the fuck is Barack Obama? Where are the Clintons? And like, are they just like checked out or where's Kamala Harris and all this? Where the fuck do they go? You haven't seen or heard from them hardly at all. That's one of the things that makes me think like this shit isn't over. You know what I mean? They're gonna reemerge like the fucking Backstreet Boys. Um, it's just true, right? Cleaning up your debt's good for dating. Yeah, Yeah, they're all scared of violence against them. Yeah, I mean that's one of the theories about how the fuck do we let Donald Trump into office is fear. That if you if you didn't just let him get into office and let him do all this horrible shit, that's one of the things about Project 2025. Yeah, I really hope the abandonment's for a reason, right? Silence has been matting. Yeah, I definitely hear that. There's a reason. There's a reason that I got on here and started making a daily podcast where we discuss the news, where we're trying to see our way through the darkness, right? Because nobody else is doing this. I voted Democrat, you know, breathing techniques. Yeah, low light, soft candle, read a book, you know what I mean? Try to relax, take deep breaths. Try not to, I always recommend like music. F plus Elon equals felon. I like that. People ask me like, what are you supposed to say at a protest? You're supposed to tell the, you're supposed to say, no kings, no tyrants, we will not remain silent. Yeah, if you look at my content, you'll see that I point people to R50501 and to Protest Finder USA. There's a protest on March 4th, which is a Tuesday, which is the day after the results of Executive Order 13848 are supposed to come out. And as far as I'm concerned, on December 20th, you saw Kamala Harris and Joe Biden rush back to the White House. And we sat around and tried to think about for what reason would they do that, right? What reason would they do that? So they could view the initial reports from Executive Order 13848. So they knew what happened. And I think there's a reason that there were no invitations on the invitations. There's a reason Kamala Harris stood right the fuck there and watched him, looked him up and down while he was taking that fucking oath. And he didn't put his hand on the Bible. And why were there two Bibles? And like, if you think about what he's done since he's been in office, because what he did wasn't a crime until he took office. So you understand what the difference between like planning to commit a crime and actually committing a crime? Yeah, they were all witness. They stood front and center and watched it happen. She wanted to make sure she could be a material witness and stand right there. I watched him fucking take the oath. And I know, and what crime did he commit? What? Treason. What are you talking about? You're not, are you playing silly? You understand that Donald Trump's a Russian asset dating all the way back to 1987, right? When he was recruited by them, given the name Krasnov. Why Project 2025's got his name in it 210 times. When COVID hit, Donald Trump gave Vladimir Putin COVID testing machines. Do you know I'm a disabled veteran and I was one of the very first ones to get a COVID shot? And when I went to the VA, they didn't have COVID testing machines. So how the fuck did Vladimir Putin get COVID testing machines before I did. Who's more important than a disabled veteran in the United States in terms of their health care, right? And I'm asking that's a loaded question. Of course it's not. But it's like, how the fuck did Russia get that before we did from us? And I would say, given that we've been in a Cold War since as long as I could fucking remember, yeah, long as I could fucking remember, we've been in a Cold War. And also, Jack Smith's Volume 1 report says, and I quote, what happened on January 6, 2021 was an insurrection. Donald Trump supported and participated in an insurrection. Therefore, he's ineligible for office per the 14th Amendment, Article 3, not only for participating in an insurrection, but for giving aid or comfort to the enemy thereof. And I've been saying it this whole fucking time in terms of treason. If you look up Article 3, Clause 3, you'll see the treason clause. And it also has this special language giving aid or comfort to the enemy thereof. And then I thought about how do you get Teflon Don on treason charges? And it's military tribunal once you let him become commander in chief. And then the report comes out for Executive Order 13848, and you've had to, you know, turbo through Project 2025 to try to get as much shit done as possible. They've already got a third of Project 2025 on the table. He pardoned violent insurrectionists. I would say that's also treason. He just fired the highest ranking military official in the United States. He just fired him. He's a black guy, in case you wondered. And WD-40, the trouble I have is that you're taking the results as they stand and not saying that he fucking cheated. Those results are manipulated and 4.5 million votes are missing. And also, he cheated in this election, and I'm not taking those results at face value. They're far less popular than they think they are. They did not win. That's what the whole point of Executive Order 13848 is. Yeah, we ain't making it to fucking midterms. I don't know what anybody's talking about. Mm-mm, mm-mm. And they've admitted it all multiple times. Yep. Erased criminal data and cops. Oh yeah. That was established after the George Floyd murder. How many votes were cheated? So that's a great question. So actually, data analytics for the 2020 election came out. There was certainly interference, and there was no election fraud. This they did a data analysis because of Executive Order 13848. Hmm. So it went through the same process because of Donald Trump is the one that signed Executive Order 13848 into it's his bill. And his whole point of putting that bill into effect was to catch whoever he was going to run against. He just didn't foresee Joe Biden coming out of the woodwork and beating his ass. Dead ass. He got beat by an actual politician. Yeah, like by 7 million votes. So cheat all the fuck you want. See, the thing about it is fraud is more likely in a close election. And that isn't my words. That's straight out of uh, Executive Order 13848 and the accompanying prosecution of election crimes document. Lots of mail-in votes were thrown out wrongly. Is that fraud? Right? Or yeah, to the tune of like several million when they're saying that the difference in the election's only 150,000 votes across like 4 states. I hope that everyone that Donald Trump's fired gets their job back with back pay. You know, I feel like Elon Musk and Donald Trump are attacking me personally. Y'all don't understand this. The Postal Service is next. My mom was a postal worker. Okay. Like, first he came for the FAA. I went to school to be a pilot and air traffic controller. They went on a hiring freeze. That's why I'm not an air traffic controller. Okay. Um, they tried to assassinate Trump. The shooter was linked to BlackRock. You understand that Trump set those up, right? He had his own people shooting at him, right? In both instances, the shooters were Republicans. They were literally on his team. Like the denialism is hilarious. At this point, it's like, George, where have you been my whole life? Or more like, where the fuck have you been? Is dead ass. It wasn't Phoebe. It was Secret Service. They assumed it was one of them. Yeah. Nevada and Pennsylvania did risk limiting audits, caught fraud, and buried the results because they didn't need it. It's what did we say it was called, chat? Ostrich parasitic syndrome. I don't know if you've ever heard Gad Sad talk about ostrich parasitic syndrome, but what can happen in the ostrich is they get this parasite in their brain, and their brain says the only way to get rid of the parasites to bury your head in the sand. And what ends up happening is the fucking ostrich suffocates itself. And the parasite ends up just eating the brain of the ostrich because it did itself in. So that's the whole thing about like denialism as it refers to Donald Trump. Like it's a wild world to be in. I know that people want to see someone like me lash out at Trumpians, but the reality is I'm not gonna do that. Yeah. I want everyone to have equal access to healthcare, right? I think what happens between a woman and her doctor should stay between a woman and her doctor. If I haven't, I haven't said that I'm not like pro-abortion. That's fucking insane. I'm pro-choice. I did have somebody say that like you're pro-abortion. Had earpiece in earrings during debate. You mean she could know when to go and stop? I don't think that, like, again, we're talking about treason, and you're saying Kamala Harris had an earpiece in as earrings during the debate. Do you understand that you're trying to like the scales of justice here? And I'm like, one of them's fucking treason, and that's really heavy. And you're like, yeah, well, Kamala cheated during a debate by wearing an earpiece shrouded as an earring. Like, what? Like, how is she supposed to hear the microphone and ask her questions and shit if she can't hear it? It should be a time it's not allowed. Says fucking who? Some of y'all. How do we get live access removed from Miss History? Whoa, whoa, whoa. Oh, we're protesting that shit. Well, we got our live access removed. Starving artists are going on to my popular videos and saying like you won't go listen to my music and shit. This shit's funny. You know it's funny for a bunch of snowflakes. You know what I'm saying? Yep. Funding for 9/11 first responders being cut, and after criticism, he reverses the cuts. But like, why? I'm not Blue Lulu neither. I've been saying, or feel burp by the way. Kamala Harris won the election. I've been saying that. Yeah. One thing I've learned in my life is don't ever be surprised when you're silenced, and don't ever think it's a First Amendment issue, right? The First Amendment, and as it refers to free speech, means like the government won't silence you. Good to go. Right. So listen, have a good rest of your day, a good weekend. Try to relax. In my eyes, like I'm chilling. You know, I got a bunch of shit to do. You know, it's crazy. It's always a white man that comes into my comments and argues with me is wrong, and then I get restricted and banned. I just want to point that out. You want to talk about a bunch of people that call other people snowflakes? Okay. February 28th, so 6 days, next Friday is the economic blackout. March 1st, I'm going to establish all of the American Socialist Party social media accounts. I'll be asking for follows, shares, shit like that. And then on March 4th, there's a protest, nationwide protest on March 4th, which is a Tuesday, which is the day after uh, the 4 months. It's 4 months after the election is the third, and on the third, I'm expecting the outcome of Executive Order 13848. Some public knowledge of that. I want to make sure before we go, I say thank you, and also, hey, you gotta say it out loud more often. We want the results of that executive order. We gotta say it more often. I want to see what happened to Executive Order 13848. What about that? What happened? Why did everybody give up so quick? I think we know why. Your state's capital, unless your state plans otherwise. If you go to R50501 on the right side, you can go down to your state. Okay. Or you go to Protest Finder, you can find protests for your state. Good to go. You'll have a good rest of your weekend. Did I not give you Aerosmith? Did I not give you Aerosmith?